Good morning and welcome to another glorious broadcast day at News Talk 940. Coming up next is the schizophrenic and frenetically paced Erwin Trade-A-Thon, the show that brings lonely sellers and hopeful buyers together. Before we unleash James G on a big load of calls and items, we have time to look at the world through the prism of a 20-something native of the Llano Estacado. I try to keep my perspective focused on things happening locally, but there's an internet hula hoop, slinky, silly putty, bear of monkeys thing that has blown up, and I'm honestly concerned you may be so confused by this attack of Japanese nonsense, you might be feeling a little crotchety. Let me explain in a simple fashion what the hell Pokemon Go is, how it affects you, and why you should relax and put away the holy water. First, Pokemon Go doesn't have much to do with the card game Japan used to fleece American teens of their lunch money in the 90s. Pokemon Go is a scavenger hunt app played on mobile devices. Using the device's camera, virtual points of engagement are placed at literal geographic points. Players interact with these points in various ways, most notably gaining or spending resources and competing with other players. This time last week, not many had heard of Pokemon Go. Now, if you don't know what Pokemon Go is, you're at risk of wearing a straitjacket in a gated community. Some are arguing the worst thing Japan ever did to America wasn't Pearl Harbor, but in fact helping us use the greatest invention of man, the one which puts the world's knowledge at your fingertips and turned it into a virtual gathering place of people with so little to do they can hunt Pikachu all day. These hunts often cause users to blindly bump into each other while they seek more Pokeballs and to use them in anger. John Wayne, Randolph Scott, and Audie Murphy didn't have Pokeballs, didn't need them, and neither do you. Neither do I, but I'm playing. Okay. Right now, let's take a quick break on the perspective. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm James G., tri-state star of the Erwin Trade-A-Thon. You know, when I'm not bringing buyers and sellers together, I'm in the great outdoors. And that's why later today, I'm going down to the Amarillo Civic Center for the Outdoor Expo. Brought to you by Two Guys Outdoors in Dumas, Town Square Media, and News Talk 940. If you like the outdoors, you'll find stuff for the outdoors at the Outdoor Expo. Only $5 get you in, children 12 and under free. And that's all I have to say about that.
Welcome back to Porky's Perspective. I'm Porky and here's more of my, perspective. XL Energy has taken time off from singing the Kenny Rogers song, The Gambler, for a bit because the line about counting your money while sitting at 100 degrees doesn't rhyme very well, and the truth of your AC running constantly isn't funny, humorous, or even mildly sophomoric. XL is warning everyone about rampant phone callers trying to scam XL customers and an all too obvious attempt to distract you from the legal seizures of your assets. XL extorts from you regularly each month. For the record, XL says if anyone calls you claiming to be them and say your electricity is about to be cut off, hang up and call XL to determine if the call you got was authentic. This means navigating the 5-layer deep soulless phone menu and spending 20 minutes on hold to confirm whether you were or weren't being scammed. If you paid your bill and you get this call and fall for the scam, you probably are having trouble finding enough Pokeballs to save Pikachu from getting deported back to Japan. It's not easy being from Happy, Texas. First, despite what many think, not everybody in Happy is on the board of directors of any of Happy State Bank's 417 branches. Also, when you're a student at Happy High, you have to bust a lip or two to prove that being a Happy High cowboy doesn't mean you smoke left-handed cigarettes, and thanks to a city ordinance against frowning, it's hard to display the full range of human emotions while in the city. There's a lot of emotional folks in Happy today, and they aren't pleased. There's some Jake leg that owns a GMC Z71 with a spare tire on the left side shooting out streetlights in Happy. And granted, it isn't the most highly illuminated city in the Panhandle, but the lights are awfully expensive. Well, this Jake Leg and his Z71, along with 2 other male chuckleheads and 1 scandalous female, were all caught on camera breaking into the Happy High School gym, causing a general mess and acting in a decidedly unhappy fashion. If you happen to see any of these jabronis, I can't legally recommend you slap them upside the head with a rubber hose, throw them into a potato sack, and drop them off in a flooded culvert. But I can recommend you call the authorities who are paid not to be so happy and point out the scofflaws to be duly prosecuted. Let's catch the desperados so the citizens of Happy can once again enjoy rainbows, unicorns, and many Taylor Swift songs. And now let's take a look at your 5-day weather forecast predicted by a 14-year-old juvenile delinquent playing Pokemon Go on a stolen Kindle Fire. Today, sunny and windy with a high of 100. Tomorrow, sunny and windy with a high over 100. Monday, abundant sunshine and a high over perdition. Tuesday, you'll get an extra large dose of cancer-causing solar radiation and high near Mercury. And on Wednesday, the rare phenomenon of a cloud may appear with a high so lofty we've exhausted all adjectives to describe the swamp stink hot will suffer from now until far past your ability to deal with it rationally. While weather is sponsored by American Classifieds, you should in no way hold them responsible for this heat. But do pick up a copy and buy something or place an ad and sell something. Call 806-376-8663 or log on to AmericanClassifiedsAmarillo.com for more information. Stay tuned. The Erwin Trade-A-Thon is up next on News Talk 940 KIXZ. It's the want ads on the radio, and if you don't want it, then you ought to sell it. Call 806-353-4037 and get in line because it's you, James G, and your items makes 3. I'm Porky, and this has been my perspective.